These are questions that I asked myself when I found out that I was adopted. I was about 13 years old, and my parents came in and they told me, they said that I was adopted and that I wasn't their real son. To me, that was a very, very hurtful time because I didn't feel like I belonged anymore. I didn't feel like I had a place to call home. I didn't feel like I had a family of my own. I felt like I was just a part of something, but I wasn't born into something. And that hurt me. I cried and cried and cried for hours at a time. I cried for a year straight because I had questions. Why did she leave me? Why did she give me up? Why did she have me and then decide to just get rid of me? Was I not good enough? Was I not a good baby? Did I cry too much? Was I not eating well? Or what was it? These were questions that I had, And I always wondered, why did she never reach out to me? Did she know who I was? Does she know who I am now? These are all questions that I had. And for a while I was upset. But I got over it. And I just let days go by, years go by, until I was 21. And I said, you know what? I'm going to find my mother. And of course, trying to find someone is extremely hard when you have very little information, very little things that, the adoption agency can give you and, things of that nature. But God is so good, and I was able to get the information that I needed that I wasn't even supposed to have. And I was able to find out what her name was and where she lived, how old she would be, how tall she is, and I did a search. I went to Google and I typed her name in, and a whole bunch of things popped up. So I was like, well, let's see if I can, narrow this thing down. Let's see if I can narrow it down. And I finally found her. And so I went to Facebook and I said, well, maybe she has a Facebook. And to my surprise, she did. And I found her. And I sent her a message, and I never heard from her. Years went by, never heard from her. I knew it was her. Never found her. Never heard back from her. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to cry anymore. I'm going to live my life and enjoy the family that I have. My mom, she was very happy for me because she wanted me to know where I came from and who my mother was. So when I told her I found out, she was very excited. She was happy, and she did anything that she could to make it possible for me to meet her. I even went as far as going to find her, actually going to a place where she was and seeing her face for the first time. And I cried and I was upset and I was just like so happy. Did I get to speak to her? No. But I saw her. And I'm still waiting on that day where I can call her and say, hey, I'm your son. You're my mother. I love you and I'm doing fine.